Cultivation theory can be defined as the more time you spent living in the television world, the more likely you are to believe your reality aligns with television's reality. George Gerbner was the dean and professor at the Amberg School of Communication, who's considered to be the father of cultivation theory. A long-term study used by Gerbner for the cultivation theory was the Cultural Indicators Project, which utilized a database of 3,000 shows and 35,000 characters, and they would use that to do a content analysis and surveying of viewers to see what they thought about these characters and shows and what it made them feel about the outside world. Cultivation studies led him to a cultivation paradigm. This paradigm is made up of 3 prongs. The first prong being institutional analysis, why media produces the messages they do. The second, message system analysis, the type of content that media produces. And the third is cultivation analysis, the influence of content on individuals' perceptions. The third prong being considered the meat of the theory, because it determines the influence of the content on the individual's perceptions of their environment. An example of cultivation theory in action is the mean world syndrome. The mean world syndrome can be defined as prolonged exposure to violent content, leaving you feeling more fearful of the world around you. Some common traits of the mean world syndrome due to cultivation can be most people looking out for themselves, you can't be too careful in dealing with other people, and most people would take advantage of you if you got the chance. Some criticisms of cultivation theory is that the scope of the study is too broad. Gerbner is known to research on the macro level, which is the study of the mass communications on how it affects the masses or the mainstream. Some criticism or thought about cultivation theory or the results of cultivation theory is that it does lend to social control. There are individual interests at play with media and the messages that it distributes. The media elites are distributing messages of their own, and it disseminates into the receivers or the viewers. While cultivation theory isn't necessarily the cause of social control or media elites sending their messages to the viewers, it is interesting seeing how they still have a hand and retain power through their messages and media. An instance of cultivation theory being unsuccessful or not being able to be applied is that some people just don't believe everything they see on TV. Some people can turn their brains off and just see things for what it is, as entertainment or news, and not be as affected by their real-world beliefs and thoughts. And some takeaways about cultivation theory is that it is still, to this day, an incredibly important research method that we need to continue to do, as television is still one of our main sources of information and entertainment. But also moving forward, with the rise of the influence of the internet, research methods need to evolve and change and need to incorporate the internet and not just television as our sole source of impressions of the real world around us.